Hello and welcome. I am talking today about spiritual cleansing and how to do spiritual cleansing in 3 very simple steps. I'm also going to talk about why you should do spiritual cleansing on a regular basis and what kind of symptoms and signs you might notice within yourself when you have the need to do spiritual cleansing. So the very first step to doing this, and this is something I do on a regular basis for myself, as an energy healer, I have to. I work with clients all the time, and I'm constantly immersed in those clients' energy fields constantly. So as I'm absorbing, being an empath, I do absorb some of their energy, and I think we all absorb energy from each other, whether you're highly empathic or not. We're all constantly in communication with each other energetically, even if we're not in verbal communication. So because energy constantly transfers from one person to another, or from a place or from an item to a person, it is very important to cleanse yourself on a regular basis, to keep yourself neutral, to keep your energy levels high, to keep your energy your own, so that it's your own vibration, and so that your energy field contains the vibration of your own thoughts and feelings and your own general type, instead of like other people's, and instead of absorbing other people's stuff. So let's get into it. Step one is, when I do spiritual cleansing for myself, I always find, obviously, a quiet, comfortable place to do this. The very, very first thing I do, and this is usually how I determine whether I need to do spiritual cleansing or not, is by tuning into your own energy. So I just sit quietly with myself, and I will tune into my own energy, and I will just kind of look for a certain feeling. And it's so funny, as I'm talking about this, I'm all of a sudden feeling emotional. But I'm looking for a certain feeling within myself. I'm looking for, it's a very subtle feeling. It's a little bit difficult to explain, but it's a very subtle feeling. So I just kind of sit with myself quietly, and I kind of breathe, and then I just check in, like, okay, how am I feeling in this moment? What's happening with me in this moment? How's my energy feeling in this moment? Do I feel high vibe? Do I feel kind of, am I low? Do I feel tired? Do I feel angry? Do I feel frustrated about anything? I just kind of do a quick check-in with myself. And I know so fast now when I'm off, like I can tell immediately when I'm off. And not just now, I've always been able to tell when I was off. But it can be difficult to do something about that, especially if you're out and about. So usually if I am out somewhere and I will pick up some type of yucky energy that just doesn't make me feel good, then I will certainly, as soon as I get home, try to clear myself, and not try, but I clear myself energetically very quickly. So tuning into your own energy, determining what you're feeling and why you're feeling that, is very, very helpful. So the why part is, you can just kind of ask yourself some questions like, when did I start feeling this way? Like, when did I start feeling more frustrated? Or when did I start feeling so tired? Or like moody, or just not feeling my normal self? When did that change? When did that shift? Did I wake up feeling like that already? Did I go to bed feeling that way? Or did I feel great in the morning when I first got up, and then I went to work, or I had an encounter with a friend, or I saw my boss, or I saw a coworker, and then after that I started to feel off? Notice these things, because the more that you pay attention to how you feel on a regular basis, and how you feel after you have interacted with people, after you have been around people, or after you've been out somewhere, either a store, shopping, thrift stores, all of those places, these places all carry energy, like all kinds of energy too. I think we've all seen enough ghost videos to know that there's sometimes weird energies at the mall, and sometimes there's just weird energies at people's houses, or sometimes people themselves have really super weird energy, and like that just kind of transfers, or you pick that up. So always pay attention. I can't help like paying attention. Like for me, it's so automatic. I notice a shift within my energy so quickly that I don't even have time to think about it. It's just like, oh shit, something's off. Like I can tell. So tune into that. And the what, in terms of like, what am I feeling? Am I feeling bad energy? Am I feeling like this sense of like stuckness? Am I feeling this sense of fearfulness all of a sudden, and I'm not even sure what I'm afraid of? Am I feeling some kind of a spiritual energy, like maybe some kind of a spirit or a ghost is around? Am I feeling some kind of perhaps even a spiritual attachment, like something is like following me or something is kind of around me all the time and I can't seem to shake it or I can't seem to get rid of it? These are like different questions you can ask yourself to help you determine perhaps why you're feeling off and what may have happened that might have caused you to feel off. And I'm just totally cheating off my notes here, guys. So now in terms of the why of why you're feeling off, you can definitely ask yourself, like, is this really me? Is this really my energy right now? Am I actually tuning in and feeling my own energy, or am I feeling something else completely or somebody else's stuff completely? And when I leave that person or go away from that person, then after that, I don't feel it anymore, right? And that's another really, really important thing to be mindful of, because then you can determine whether it's truly yours or if it's just somebody else's bad vibes that you're super picking up on, and maybe even, bringing some of it home for yourself, which you don't want to do. Or if you do, then I'm going to teach you how to cleanse it. So why, another one, yeah, so hanging out with like low vibe people, what were you around? Some people that maybe you don't particularly resonate with anymore, or people that you just noticed that are not really ever, in a good mood, or perhaps they're complaining a lot, or they're like kind of victim mode a lot. People like that are actually very, very low vibrationally. They resonate at a very low frequency because they're in a constant state of fear, and that state of fear will attract other low vibrational energies to them. So it keeps them perpetuated, and it just kind of keeps this loop going. So be very mindful of who you share your energy with, who you hang out with, and who you're willing to be around. And people that complain a lot are definitely victim. So, they're in victim mode. So just all together, and maybe that's something that you guys share. Do we just like hang out with that one friend and that's all we do? And that's like the only thing we have in common, perhaps, is we just complain to each other about all kinds of stuff that, maybe aren't even that big of a deal, right? Like, notice those things, who you hang out with, and what you feel like after you have hung out with them. Also, do you have low energy often? Does this happen to you all the time, or is this happen to you often, or is it just sometimes? That's another thing to pay attention to. Like, are you constantly tired? Or is it just, I'm sometimes tired, or I'm only tired when I hang out with certain people or when I go to a certain place? Like, that could even be work for a lot of people. They go to work, and the instant they get to work, they feel exhausted. And they feel that because they're feeling the collective energy of everyone else in that space who is also feeling exhausted. So we're all emitting energy constantly. We're all vibing out, right? So if we're all vibing out constantly, we're putting information into the field. And then we're all just picking up on that information subconsciously. And then your body is responding to it. So when you all of a sudden start yawning, for example, around somebody, I've had that many times. That's actually a very, very clear indication that that person has some kind of a lower vibrational attachment to them, and they really need to be cleared and cleansed. If you find that you continue yawning afterwards, it could be some of their residual energy leaked into your energy field as well through the time that you spent with them. So cleansing yourself most certainly will be very, very useful as soon as you're able to, or as soon as you're home. Feeling like you're being watched, or feeling like you're never quite alone. That would be another really, really good indication as to why someone might need some spiritual cleansing and why you might be feeling off. So again, paying attention to that. A little side note here with spirits and entities and those kind of things. What I quickly want to mention is spirits come and go. There are a lot of spirits that wander. That means they roam the earth in a way. They roam areas and different homes and stuff like that. And people that are more spiritually inclined, I know and I feel have these occurrences kind of happen way more often to them. Spirits seem to just be attracted to individuals that are conscious of spirituality and that have an understanding of the spirit world. They naturally seem to gravitate towards them. So sometimes I will certainly have different things kind of flowing through my home, I'll just say. It's not necessarily ever staying here. It doesn't last a long time. Sometimes it's just like, just for a moment. Sometimes it could just be like for a day, something will linger and I can feel it, and I'll usually have to cleanse my space in my home, and help that spirit move along to wherever it's going on its journey next. But just be aware of that, really, really be aware of that spirits definitely can attach to people, and it is your energy that they actually feed off of. And that is why they attach to people. So they constantly follow you around essentially until you cleanse that energy, until you cut that cord with that spirit. So this could be passed on loved ones. This could be passed on friends, passed on anyone really that you've known that for some reason felt a need to attach to you afterwards, after they died. So yeah, just keep that in mind. Spirits come and go all the time. So they are around us for sure. Also pay attention, are you feeling like something is draining you? And this is something I've mentioned earlier. It could be people, it could be places, it could be things. Is there a certain thing that you have in your house, and every time you look at it, you just kind of have this ugh kind of feeling, where it's almost like this tired or annoying, or oh, that thing, it doesn't bring you joy, it doesn't bring happiness. It's just like this thing that's there, a little hair thing. So pay attention to that. Is there something that you need to get rid of out of your house? A lot of people have a lot of clutter and a lot of energy attached to that clutter within their home. So let me see. Another reason why you may be feeling, as you're tuning into yourself, feeling that you're off, is if you have participated in any kind of ghost rituals, or any kind of ghost hunting, or spirit communication, or Ouija board, especially those kind of things. Man, that just really, really opens up a whole can of worms energetically. I highly, highly discourage people from doing that. If you don't know what you're doing, do not dabble with the other side, because 9 times out of 10, you're going to get what you don't want instead of perhaps what you did want to come through. Personal experience, I did some experimenting one time, and I will never, ever, ever do it again. I had some pretty bad consequences, which then needed to be cleared away, and they were, thankfully. But I'm pretty certain that experience for me happened so that I could learn and understand that you just don't mess with Ouija boards, because that was the thing that we did. I was very young. I was just a kid, and I really didn't understand the power of it. So just be very, very mindful that, what you dabble in really can attach. It can really mess things up for you energetically in a way that you don't even understand. So now, when it comes to, this is just all about tuning into your energy and figuring out and determining what is attached, perhaps why you're feeling off, what you're feeling in the first place. So moving on to step 2 is connecting to your power and the light. So this is my absolute number one go-to. If I want to remove anything energetically from myself, if I feel in any way that something is off within my field, or something is off just in terms of my connection with other people, and then the very first thing that I will do is I have to connect to my own inner power, because what we do, again, as I explained earlier, is we absorb other people's energy. That means you're also absorbing other people's fears, other people's doubts, other people's worries, other people's concerns, all of their different perceptions around how they view a certain situation. That's all thought energy, and thought energy floats in your energy field. So when you hang out with somebody, you can certainly pick up on their actual thoughts, on their feelings about those thoughts, and in that moment, we can very much subconsciously give away our power unknowingly. We're actually kind of surrendering to that absorbing that's happening in that moment as you're hanging out. So one of the first things I do hanging out with people is I bubble up first. Before I leave the house, before I go anywhere, before I do anything, before I do a healing session, I always bubble up. I protect my energy. I clear my energy, just to keep myself level and to make sure that I'm neutral as I'm beginning to work with someone. But connecting to your power is step 1 of that. So the very first thing I do is I go within myself and I breathe deeply, and I just kind of get this sense and this feeling within myself that I'm just beyond powerful. And it is a very it could sound very egotistical, but it's not. It's a very spiritual power. It's this knowingness within you that you are powerful beyond measure, and that nothing can actually overcome you or overpower you unless you give that something power, unless you give your own power to that thing, then it will overpower you 100%. So connecting to your own personal power and kind of drawing that back in, whatever I'm afraid of, I'm going to pull my power right back into myself from that. Whatever I'm worried about, I'm going to pull my power back into myself about that. And I'm just going to release the worry. I'm going to release the fear because I've regained my personal power. And as I'm focusing on connecting to my own personal power, I'm focusing on simultaneously connecting to the light, which means that I am like, my power is light. That is my power. That's my superpower, is I just focus on that highly, highly vibrational, just very highly spiritual energy. And as I'm focusing on connecting to that, that in itself is like filling my power bucket right back up. So I find that to be a really simple exercise, just by focusing on that. And how to connect to the power and the light is, the very first thing you can start with is light candles. So I always light some white candles. I've got some white candles lit behind me here. I've got my selenite lamp, which is also a very highly charged, highly spiritual type of rock, or type of, it's not even a rock actually, it's a type of like mineral. So I just will activate things. I will turn things on in my home that specifically connect to the light, that have a very high spiritual power to them. And that is how you actually invite the light in. So when you're trying to regain control of how you feel and you're trying to amp yourself up, always light some candles first. And with your mind, set the intention, and with your heart, set this intention of like, I'm inviting the light in. As I'm lighting my candles, I'm inviting the light in. And that's it. That's all I need to think about. Now, once you've lit your candles, you can also do some sage. I have a little pack of sage here so you guys can see what it looks like. White sage is usually the best. You can find this in bundles. You can find them on Amazon. You can also find them by the bag. I burn sage every day, so I don't buy little bundles like this. I actually have to get like an entire huge bag of it because I go through quite a bit of sage. This is what the bundle looks like. It's beautiful. It's very, very well wrapped. And I mean, this is huge. Like, do not light this. It's going to be way too smoky in the house and you're just going to drown in the smoke. So I will often unwrap these, and I will just take like a leaf at a time. If I'm just doing like a quick cleanse, or if I just want to get some sage going in the house, then I'll just break a piece off actually and only like that. Otherwise it's way too much and you're going to set your smoke alarms off. I've done it multiple times. So don't do that. So yeah, you're right. You light some candles, you're lighting your sage, you're getting that energy going in the home, and then find quiet time and find a quiet place in the home to do this so that you're not disturbed by anyone, and so that you're also not influenced by anyone's energy while you are trying to cleanse yourself. The last thing you want is to have people around because their energy is going to influence that cleansing process. Now, next step you want to do is sit comfortable, close your eyes, and you're going to start breathing deeply. Okay, so this is still all a part of step 2. We're connecting to our power and to the light. Okay, you've lit some candles, you're burning your sage, you've got a nice quiet place, you're sitting comfortable, you close your eyes, and you're going to start breathing deeply. And when I'm talking deeply, I'm talking through the nose. And you exhale through the mouth. This is like my go-to breathing exercise. This specific breathing exercise actually activates the spiritual body, which is not the physical, it's the energetic layer called the spiritual body in your energy field. That is what you're activating with deep breathing. And it's the simplest thing that you can do. And actually you can do this literally anywhere. I do this all the time, waiting for my car to get an oil change or whatever. And I'll just sit and I'll just do some deep breathing quietly as I wait, just to like activate my personal power, connect to that light, and just to feel really, really strong. This way things can't attach to me as I'm out and about living my life, because I'm constantly doing this deep breathing connection. So as you're doing your deep breathing, you're going to start mentally visualizing, pushing out all of the fear and all of the worry out of your mind. You're just going to start to push it out, all of these thoughts. And if they're coming in, oh, am I doing this right? Blah, anything that's doubtful, anything that you're questioning, you just start pushing that out mentally. And then you're going to start pulling the light into the body with each inhale. So as I sit and as I'm doing my deep breathing and as I start to inhale, with every single inhale, I'm pulling in light. I visualize light from the ether, from everywhere. Light is actually everywhere in particle form. We just can't see it, right? But it's there. Light is there during the day. And you just start to pull that light into yourself. And so with each inhale, you're visualizing that light coming in through the nose and running and spreading throughout your entire body. It's moving down your arms, it's moving down your torso and down your legs. It literally is like a circuit, and it just starts to kind of come in. With every breath, you're going to inhale light. Then with every exhale, you're going to release fear. So as you start, and as you're getting into release mode and pushing everything out, now you're exhaling that low vibe. You're actually clearing it out with your breath. You just start visualizing. I visualize sometimes like almost like a gray smoke, or sometimes it's just blackness. Sometimes it's just a feeling of really dense energy, like it feels heavy. So I will just keep focusing on like exhaling all of those things, all heaviness, and then all fear and all doubts and all worries, and you just start pushing all of it out with your exhales. Inhaling light, exhaling darkness. Okay, pretty simple so far. Sorry, just a quick cheat here. Yes, I've mentioned all of that. So that was step 2 of connecting with your power and with the light, how to breathe it in, exhale, how to exhale the darkness. Now step 3 is focusing on breathing in that power, but with each exhale, not only visualize like heavy energy leaving your body and darkness, as I mentioned before, but like visualize your entire energy field lighting up. So it's like all of a sudden it's like you become a light bulb, and everything within your energy field, within your bubble, begins to glow. Imagine this light. For me, it's a golden light usually that I start to see. 9 times out of 10, it's a golden light that I see, and it looks like fairy dust. It looks like these little sparkles of energy. And the more I'm doing my inhaling the light, exhaling the darkness, as I keep repeating that deep breathing and I keep focusing myself on purging heaviness and clearing my energy field and activating my spirit body, the more I'm focused and tuned into this. And as you're doing this, you're just going to start to see it. You're going to start to feel it, like your body starts to buzz. There's this buzzy feeling that I get throughout my entire body. Certain parts of my body, I start to feel like movement. It literally feels like something is moving on my body, but like it's energetically on my body, not in my physical body, if that makes sense. So I just pay attention to those little feelings and I allow them to happen, and I just keep focusing on my power, and I keep breathing in the light, and I keep exhaling the darkness until I feel all of those little movements and poke here and an ouch there, and just like little sensations throughout my body as I start to feel all of them dissipate, because you're going to start to feel them clear out, literally, and you're going to feel this just a sense of like lightness is the best word that I can use to describe it. I start to feel really, really light. And just a little disclaimer here super quickly. When you do breathing exercises, especially slow, deep breathing exercises, there is a tendency to get dizzy. You're bringing in a ton of oxygen into your brain and into your entire body through that inhaling. So be mindful that you can get very dizzy, and in some cases even like pass out. Like just do the breathing exercises sitting down, do them when you're home, do them when you're in a safe space. Because there has been times where it was just like, I got so much oxygen into my body and into the brain through deep breathing that I literally just I was just so dizzy. I felt completely out of it. I was not suitable to drive or to do anything like that. So just be mindful. That is a disclaimer there for sure. Now, what else do we have left here? I mentioned that. Oh, right, of course. So the last part of step 3 is actually going to be a positive affirmation that you're going to state. And I state this positive affirmation out loud. I repeat it several times. I usually repeat it several times because the first time I say it, if it doesn't feel very powerful, then I will keep saying it and keep saying it and keep saying it until it becomes really, really powerful, until I'm like full on like feeling that statement that I'm saying. So the statement is, and you might want to write this down for yourself, and like I said, you're going to repeat this, is my inner light and power is activated, transforming all lower vibrational energies, cords, entities attached to me now into pure light. You can make this a little bit shorter if you like. For me, it's just kind of on a roll. So my inner light and power is activated and transforming all lower vibrational energies and entities and cords that are attached to me at this time, transforming them into light. So I don't know, that's it. You can word it however you like, whatever is easier, whatever rolls off the tongue better for you. But definitely say something along those lines, because what the key words here is that your inner light and power is activated. You're transforming lower vibrational energies into light. That is kind of the key here. Those are the main things that you want to mention. I get specific in terms of what, like transforming all lower vibrational energies, cords, and entities, because there are several different types of energies that can be attached to us. So that's my little go-to statement that I will say in various ways, whatever rolls off the tongue easier that day. And that's it. That's it. Like 3 steps really to get yourself to a place where you can really, really feel powerful again. It just blows my mind how much this little exercise will activate me and how much it will elevate me actually and push me back up to the vibration that I am supposed to be at and where I actually want to be at. So repeat the statement out loud too when you're doing the breathing exercises until you feel an actual shift. So sometimes I will physically feel a shift in my body, like something has left my body is the only way I can describe it. Sometimes I will feel just like a lighter mood, a lightness in my heart, like more joy, more happiness returns. So just keep repeating the statement until you really, really feel that shift or that lightness, or like something shifted, something changed. You're going to feel it. You're going to sense it. Now, the last thing I want to say here is just to repeat this exercise daily, weekly, monthly, yearly, like repeat as often and as many times as you would like to repeat this. You could do this several times a day. You could do it several times a week. I would really, really suggest doing it at times when you particularly catch yourself feeling really low, or catch yourself feeling off when you know that you're not yourself, or anytime that you really feel like, this is just not, how I want to be feeling right now. So what can I do? Well, this is something that you can do. You just find a quiet place, you sit, you focus on tuning in to, okay, why am I feeling this way? What's causing this? Kind of get a little check-in with yourself, then connect to your power, connect to the light. You're going to focus on your breathing. You're going to do the exercises as I mentioned, and you're going to have your power statement. That's it. Really, really simple. And it has pulled me out of situations. It has pulled me out of really, really heavy and really dark feelings. This has pulled me out of so many different times, when I was just extremely low, and it worked every single time without fail. So, because one of the main things that really causes us to require spiritual cleansing is really just the accumulation of information, energy that is constantly floating in and around us. So you're never going to get away from that as long as you live. None of us are. We all live in this soup of energy together, right here on planet Earth. And it is our due diligence, and I think our duty to ourselves and to other people to keep ourselves high vibe, to keep ourselves cleansed, and to keep ourselves feeling really, truly the most powerful in a humble way as we possibly can. That's our job. So that's it for today, guys. This is the video about spiritual cleansing. I hope you found it helpful, and I hope you're able to maybe take some notes and write it down for yourself. And do this practice and do it regularly. Thank you so much for watching and for tuning in, and I will see you in the next one.